a first aid kit. Help me.
Sweet weapon you got there, Aiden. Is it new?
Find something you like in the bazaar?
I wonder what the hell is going on in the center. Since PK's restricted access. Some say the renegades are about to attack.
I don't like it when it's so quiet.
They almost got me today. But you're alone. Unfortunately.
I don't like it when it's so quiet.
They almost got me today. But you're alone. Unfortunately. I didn't even see the comment. What's it? My market just blinked. Maybe you're turning. I guess that feel it, right?
Water runs out, we're all gonna be fucked. DK and civilian alike.
Sweet weapon you got there, Aiden. Is it new?
Aiden, I hear you've been to the Outlands. What are they like?
You heard? People say the Night Runners are back.
Haven't seen my kids in months because of this ridiculous blockade of the center.
My sister found some weird tapes inside an abandoned building the other day. Some kind of audio diary from people before the fall.
Find something you like in the bazaar?
When I die, I want with the rest of my family.
I've never seen someone botch a job so badly in my life.
Hey, watch where you're going. What a day. No frigging way I can do it. 5 years of learning, and all for nothing.
Easy
I
money?
just have to
Hell
get it
easy.
right this time.
Easy enough.
Alberto needs to see I'm good enough.
What's your name, pal?
Basco.
Really?
Basco? Huh. Haven't seen you around here before.
What's the problem?
Hey, aren't you the pilgrim they wanted to hang? Man, you were in luck there. I could use some of that luck. I'm Alberto's apprentice. Not for long, probably. It's the 3rd time I'm taking a shot at this test. If I fail again, Craftmaster Alberto's gonna kick me out.
Hey, what's a craftmaster?
You're not from around here, right? Craftmasters are people who invent new technology, design innovations, all sorts of gadgets that might help in combat. Alberto's the Grand Master around here. Like I said, I'm his apprentice. People laugh at him, that he's slow and not very eloquent, but he's a real friggin' genius.
What's this test about?
I have to design something useful for the citizens. I already invented underwater reading glasses for Alberto, then a retractable dog leash, but he kept jamming. And besides, we have no dogs here. All my ideas are worthless. Now is my last chance to prove that I am not worthless. So I spent the last several weeks walking around the bazaar and thinking hard. And then, I hit it. Our goats. They're kept in cages because they eat crops. But life in cages makes them sad, and they give less milk. So I came up with the idea of a fence, energized with just a tiny bit of voltage. That would keep the goats under control, but let them produce more milk. I called this invention the electric fence.
Yeah, that's a little rough. Stressed goats can give bitter milk.
Seriously? Goats get stressed?
Wouldn't you? If someone electrocuted you and then went for your crotch?
Oh, no. It's only a very small voltage. Won't do more than tickle them.
So, what seems to be the problem with this invention of yours?
I'm missing a few parts, and they're not that easy to get. I'm worried I won't be ready on time. Maybe you could help me. If you find them for me, I'll give you one of my super cool inventions.
Nothing to do with goats, I hope.
Nah, something much more interesting. You'll see. I just need some electric parts. I'll dismantle them for resistors and other useful things. As far as I know, they could be found in 2 places. One's an old hardware store on Fitzwilliam Place, near the water tower. Alberto says they'll be there for sure. But it's a dark place, full of turned creatures. You have to go there at night.
And the other option?
Whatever's left of military patrols. I know of one place south of Horseshoe, near the old electrical substation. Bandits roam in the area, so it's possible there's nothing left there. In which case you'll have to look for other patrol remains, or take a night trip to the store.
Yeah, I'll see what I can do. But I can't promise anything.
I would be very grateful.
I knew this old couple, Carl and Ellie. Used to live above the antique shop in Horseshoe. They were like 80 years old.
Got a gig as a finisher tomorrow. Someone's got to take care of the biters roaming the streets around the bazaar at dawn.
I keep telling everyone.
Don't recognize me? Or are you allergic to making money? Listen, Pilgrim. We can make a killing, you and me. You just need to get me some beets, radishes, parsnips.
There he is. Grab him, Ed. He's a murderer.
What?
Julian, Luke's been poisoned. From the water you sold him, Bevan says.
What? But I don't sell water.
Liar. Luke told me he got it from you. Whatever's in it has him ranting and raving now.
You sure he didn't blame me after he started renting?
Oh, well, wait a minute. Do you have proof?
Of course. The water came in a bottle. Luke got that water in one of your bottles. When I tell Carl about this, you'll hang!
Bevan, wait! I swear, I don't even sell water, damn it! If you're lying, Julian, you're fucking toast.
Just because you got a hold.
Wait, so then, if you're not selling water, how'd someone get a hold of one of your bottles?
Knowing that shithead Luke, he probably stole it. That would be like him. Even if he did, my water's pure as melted snowflakes.
You sure? How do you store it?
I buy bottled.
There's no way it could become contaminated.
Not a chance. My supplier, Marco, always has clean water.
So, maybe it's revenge.
For what? Everyone loves me. Never had an enemy in my life. Wait a second. Wait. Shit. Except maybe Marco. That bastard. Come to think of it, he's got an axe to grind for me. It was a long time ago. Never mind. Listen. He lives above an old shop on the west end of Villador, on Houndfield Lane. I traded him a few kilos of my finest flour for the water. Prove he poisoned it, and half my flour is yours. Can you do that for me?
I guess I could check it out.
And there's one more thing. I'm a little embarrassed. Hans might also have a bottle of this water.
I thought you weren't selling it.
I'm not, except, well, to Hans and... Can you go warn him? He's also on Houndfield, a few buildings down.
Something's fishy about this, Julian. Look, you better be telling the truth, otherwise it'll be hard to help you.
Man, I'm so thirsty. Hey,
No one has better, man. Good.
hurt trees, which is good because the old trees look really bad. There are changes to enemy AI to make them more intelligent and believable, both in combat settings and in large-scale crowds. There's new apartments you can claim and decorate, the new driving physics at work, rebalancing the whole game economy, and so much more. From the sounds of things, none of this is going to change the mind of the people who firmly believe that Cyberpunk is utter, irredeemable trash, just completely worthless product in every facet. There seem to be tweaks and refinements for people who are on the fence, who are perhaps waiting for a few updates to roll through. I've always liked Cyberpunk, as unpopular a position as that may be, so I'm glad this update gives people a gentle nudge to experience it. It's a deeply flawed game in many aspects, and nothing will change that, but I also think it's a very worthwhile experience. So if you've been holding off until fixes arrive, then this might be the right time to jump in if the update actually works. Again, I don't know, that remains to be seen. And not since Cyberpunk have we seen a game with this much hype. Elden Ring, the next opus from FromSoft, drops next week, and this week PC fans were aghast to see early PC specs revealed that were a little on the high side. The specs were quickly removed, giving the Master Race a brief moment of hope, but in a classic Souls-like move, FromSoft uploaded the same specs just days later. It's like the ape boss in Sekiro all over again. You think you're in the clear, and then boom, he gets up and starts beating you to death with his own severed head. The specs, yeah, they're on the high side. CPU, GPU, RAM requirements, they're all well and truly above what many other PC games these days are asking for, especially a game like this, which, you know, it's running on an older engine at this point. It's not exactly cutting edge. Anyway, hopefully your PC can run it, otherwise it might be time to hit up Scalper for a new GPU. Or a console. I'm just kidding. PC people don't do that. Hey, remember Scalebound, the Microsoft exclusive Platinum game that had that banging trailer but then just kind of disappeared into development hell before eventually being cancelled? Well, the chief game designer, Hideki Kamiya, hasn't given up hope on it and is now publicly calling for Uncle Phil to come to the rescue. Last week, when talking to IGN Japan, Kamiya said that a lot of work had been put into the title in the past, and he said that that was pretty useless to Microsoft in its current form. Quote, "Phil, let's do it together," end quote. Many wondered if he was joking, but it turns out he wasn't. He doubled down on those comments this week, saying that he was totally serious about resurrecting the title. Quote, "That's something that I thought I'd been saying or had been trying to say for years now. I've said it in interviews before and got no reaction, but now finally I've got a big reaction and I was glad to see that. But no, it's not a joke." Yeah, kind of funny that this guy's been saying this for years and all of a sudden everyone's like, oh wait, so you were serious, okay, cool. He refused to confirm or deny if he was actually in talks with Microsoft about this right now, which is kind of telling in itself, I think. So yeah, watch this space, I guess. That's not the only Platinum news we got this week. Recently, the company's leadership has made clear their plans to focus more on live service titles, or at least titles that have a longer lifespan than their typically short character action games. The upcoming Babylon's Fall fits into that bracket, but the comments from leadership indicate we can expect more multiplayer live service games in the future as well. It comes as acquisition fever grips the industry, and the Platinum CEO has made public that they would be open to discussions about being acquired so long as their freedom could be guaranteed. There have been rumblings for some time now that Platinum have struggled internally with a number of projects, so it is possible that those acquisition discussions are already happening. So yeah, once again, watch this space. One developer that's had no shortage of troubles, drama, and controversy of late is blockchain game publisher Ubisoft, who opened this week's No Fucking Thanks segment with the news that they've added their beloved Rabbids to a shitty pseudo video game known as The Sandbox, which is just a space for speculative NFT and crypto nonsense. It's a partnership so crappy and half-baked, it's not even worth talking about or explaining. The point is, Ubisoft staff hate it, just like they hate all the other NFT bullshit that Ubisoft management are pushing. This week, a report from Jason Schreier of Bloomberg pulled back the curtain on the internal war being waged within Ubisoft as passionate game makers try to rein in management's avaricious stupidity and propensity to self-own. Messages on the internal staff message board respond to NFT announcements with stuff like, quote, "It's a deeply embarrassing day to work for Ubisoft," end quote. Another wrote, quote, "Are we competing with EA for the most hated game studio by the public title? Because this is how you do it," end quote. Fucking based. As bad as all this NFT shit is, it's actually not the worst thing going on at Ubisoft right now. That title goes to all the workplace harassment that has plagued the company for years and has still not been properly addressed. This week, employee group A Better Ubisoft put out a public letter saying that Ubisoft's management have met precisely 0 of their demands in the 200 days since they put them to Ubisoft. Their demands include stopping abusers from being promoted and relocated, a strategy Ubisoft employs as often as the Catholic Church, as well as a seat at the table when it comes to important decisions affecting staff welfare. Reasonable demands that Ubisoft leadership have remained all but silent about. You get the feeling that Ubisoft's head honchos are just trying to ride this out. Let's hope they don't get the chance to do that. These weren't the only abuse claims coming from a company driving an NFT agenda this week. Funny how those things go hand in hand, isn't it? Last week, Worms developer and indie game publisher Team 17 were publicly dragged when they announced and then abandoned a gaudy NFT program, and it looks like management's big brain moment opened a real can of worms. Okay, sorry about that. Following on from the public outcry and internal resistance, Eurogamer spoke to a number of current and former Team 17 staff members who described working conditions that are sadly all too familiar. QA staff being paid an absolute pittance, some of them unable to afford 3 meals a day, promised staff bonuses being cut in a year of record profits, instances of sexual harassment and workplace bullying being dismissed by HR, the general overwork of staff suffering to meet the demands of shareholders who demand infinite growth and return on investment. It's a story we've seen from so many big publishers and developers, but it stings that little bit more to see it occurring here in what we thought was just a wholesome indie publisher. Team 17 CEO Michael Patterson has responded to the report saying, quote, action has to be taken, end quote, but we've certainly heard that before from other CEOs, so the proof is in the pudding on that one. To be fair, a number of staff spoke with Eurogamer saying that they were cautiously optimistic about the CEO's response, so hopefully something comes of it. Alright, let's pivot to some good news. Lost Ark. Man, no one could have seen that one coming, right? Well, not really actually. The game has been available in other markets for years now and it's been wildly successful over there, so it was reasonable to expect a strong launch over here as well. I don't think anyone could have predicted just how massive this launch would be, however. This is a true story. Lost Ark now holds the number 2 spot in the history of Steam concurrent player counts, eclipsed only by the absolute absurdity of 3.5 million people playing PUBG back at launch. Lost Ark has now beaten the records of both Dota and CSGO with 1.3 million concurrent players. Absolute insanity for a free-to-play MMO at a time when people are still trying to argue that the MMO is dead. The servers have certainly buckled under the load, but it hasn't been a catastrophe. They've kept it together, just allowing millions and millions of people to experience what many are saying is excellent, including my editor Austin, who this week completely lost his life to this video game. He forced me to set aside a segment of our weekly news show, and while I was at first resistant, I remembered that he edits these videos, so he was just going to insert it anyway. So here it is, our second ever editor's choice. Take it away, Austin.
Alright, Lost Ark. I've put about 50 hours into the game now. Let's talk about it. The story and writing, comically bad. The questing, also quite uninspired. But even still, the locations and set pieces the story will take you through are fucking breathtaking. This game is so gorgeous. I mean, look at the screen. I find myself so often blown away by this game's art. But combat is where the game really shines. It feels fucking awesome. It's fast, it's flashy, it's weighty, and the sound design is meaty as hell. If you like buildcraft, you'll have a field day here. It's fantastic. Every ability has its own little upgrade tree, allowing you to combine modifiers in any order you choose to fit your playstyle. I can make a single target skill instead pull enemies into an area, or I can make my leap call down a lightning field. Amazing. But let's talk dungeons. Holy shit. The dungeons in this game are just insane. Crazy spectacle. They're so varied in gameplay, the mob density is ridiculous, and most of the boss encounters are really, really well designed. Everything I'm describing here doesn't even scratch the surface of what this game offers. There's so much here that I don't even have time to talk about. The PvP, the hectic rift mode, this solo tower climb thing, Monster Hunter style boss hunts, your island estate, and sailing between all these unique themed islands with their own quest lines. The bottom line is, this game is just fun. No matter what content you're doing, it's always fun because it's underpinned by amazing combat and gorgeous visuals. Whether this holds up and isn't dragged down by the monetization in the endgame remains to be seen, but for now, I'm having a wild time, and you can experience everything I've just described without paying a single cent. That is a pretty good deal, if I do say so myself.
And they called me shut up. Jesus, was that block sponsored, Austin? Do I have to add...
Just to give me a chance. Do you know that song?
What's that?
Lonely Teardrops?
Yeah.
By Jackie Wilson. Only reason I know about him is because radio station we listen to at GameStop.
Yeah.
An older station, but it plays anything as long as it's good. They're playing. No, they're playing oldies. They're playing oldies from 50s and 60s and 70s black artists for Black History Month. So they were playing a bunch of Jackie Wilson stuff. And I had heard his one song, Work Out, Baby Work Out. And I knew that Michael Jackson always called Jackie Wilson, he always called Jackie Wilson, James Brown, and Fred Astaire his biggest influence. I knew, obviously, know who James Brown is, I know who James Brown was. But I never really heard of anything except for that one song, Baby Work Out. You heard that song?
I think so. I hear most of them.
From Jackie Wilson. And so I looked up, after I got off from work that day, I looked up stuff. Man, he was like the first real music superstar. Everybody thinks it was Elvis. It wasn't. It was Jackie Wilson. Elvis still a lot of Jackie Wilson's dance moves, too. Because he did it first. But he was like the world's first music superstar, him and Sam Cooke. Jackie Wilson would, when he would perform, he would do all those dance moves like James Brown would do. But Jackie Wilson did it first. He would do the spins like Michael would do, but Jackie Wilson done it first. He would shuffle his feet. He did this one move where if he was singing a love song, he would fall down to his knees. And then the way he would get up, kind of most people get up, he would put his legs to his side like this while he's on his knees, and he would like break them together like this, and that's how he'd get up. And he would do it on the beat. You know what I mean? Anyway, I listened to biographies of him, and he started in 1957. By 1965, he was the first artist that had at least one #1 hit from every album that he put out from 1957 to 1965. So he had Lonely Teardrops was his first #1. Baby Work Out, #2. A song he did called Danny Boy. Can't remember. Everybody said it used to be an Irish like folk song, but he made it like an R&B song, like a love song. So he made that one #1, and then his last #1 was Higher and Higher. I'm sure you've heard that one. The one that goes, your love lifted me higher than I've ever been before. I'm sure you've heard that one. Everybody's heard that one. Seen a lot of movies and commercials and stuff. And then after that, he had a couple more like hits here and there, but those were the big ones. And he was a music superstar, man. They called him Mr. Excitement because his live performances were like must see. The way he danced and stuff. And the way he sung, because he could hit really, really high notes or really, really low ones. Or in between. And then the show, Eric Benson. And while he was on the show, while he was in the middle of performance, right after he said the line, he was singing Lonely Teardrops. Right after he said the line, my heart keeps crying, he got a heart attack. And when he fell, because he had a heart attack, when he fell, he hit his head inside the piano because he had a stroke. They got him resuscitated, but he wasn't breathing for a little over 7 minutes. Your brain can't go that long without oxygen, it shuts down. And that's what happened to him. After they resuscitated him and got him back to the hospital, he was vegetable. He eventually opened his eyes again, so he was kind of like making progress. It took him years, but he opened his eyes again, like 2 years before he died. And one of his doctors said that right before he died of a complication to his pneumonia. When you have like something like that, when you're sick like that in the hospital, there's not really nothing you can do with your body, so weak, you can't fight it off. But he had pneumonia, and the doctor said like 2 weeks before he died from the pneumonia, he got to where he could start moving his mouth. He couldn't talk or anything, but he could move his lips and like open his mouth. And they knew that he knew where he was and what was going on because they could ask him yes or no questions. And he would blink. Once for yes, twice for no. That's got to be the worst hell imaginable, you know? Being alive, being aware of your surroundings, unable to communicate, you know, unable to move. That's got to be awful, man. I feel so sorry. And he died broken alone, you know, because his manager was tied to the mob, and his manager stole a lot of his money. And the company that his manager stole for stole a lot of their money. What was that company they were with? It was called, at first it was called something else, then it ended up being called ATV. And Michael Jackson bought the catalog. They also owned the Beatles. Well, I just learned today that also in that catalog that Michael bought that had Jackie Wilson songs that he gave back to Jackie Wilson and also paid him the royalty. A lot of people say that him paying the royalty to Jackie Wilson, that was expensive. Why would he do that? Not really. That family didn't. Like, I think all of his royalties, all the money that his boss had stolen from him over a 20-year period only equaled up to a little over $2 million. Michael Jackson, that was chump change. Could you imagine having so much money that $2 million would be like you having $2? Can you believe having that much money? But also in that catalog, there was Little Richard's music. Tutti Frutti and Miss Molly. And he gave Little Richard the rights to his music back and paid him the royalties over the years, which added up to almost $4 million. And there was other artists too. The only one that he shafted, and the only reason he shafted them was because he knew that if he kept the music, he would be able to license it for like commercials and movies and stuff, was the Beatles. Paul McCartney wanted the catalog. Him and John Lennon had wrote most of the songs. Michael wouldn't do it. He kept it. That's kind of mean, but he's a shrewd businessman. He was.
Yeah.
That was the secret to his success. Why he made so much money. Why he was able to buy Neverland and then an amusement park for himself. That's the secret. Because he would buy catalogs wherever they could come up and sell. Old music, new music, it didn't matter. He would buy it. He ended up owning a lot of people's music. But when Michael Jackson died, guess what? In his will, he left and said, if Paul McCartney is still alive, if I die, I would like for him to have rights to the Beatles. I'd like to convert the rights to the Beatles over him. He said, if Paul McCartney is not alive when I die, I would like for the rights to the Beatles' music be given to his family and their estate. When he died, he willed Beatles music back to Paul. Now Paul got more money than what we do with it, but it's all other Beatles pay. Ringo Starr?
Yeah.
Oh.
He's still alive. Pretty sure he is.
I don't know. I know that when Michael died, and the rights went back to Paul, that Yoko Ono and her family raised a big stink. She thought she was entitled to it because she was married to John. But she lost that battle, thank God. I always thought that she was a bad influence for John. Did you?
Yeah.
Because if you watch their biographies or read any of their books, they all say that that's when John started changing. That's when Yoko Ono came around. But anyway, Michael owns a lot of people's music. Well, his estate does. He owns rap music, everything, man. And in his catalog, his own catalog, of all his songs, how much money he worth? $6 billion. Billion with a B. Out of all those songs worth $6 billion, only 5 of them are worth more than half of that. Billie Jean, Thriller, Beat It, Bad, and Man in the Mirror are worth half of that, half of his entire catalog. Just those 5 songs. That's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's how good those songs were. Sorry to talk your ear off.
I'm good, sir.
I know I do it a lot. It's because I like to talk. Especially when I, get excited about something or something that I'm excited about. I like to talk. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's fine. There go piss again. You ain't gonna go to the bathroom anymore.
No, I'm trying to fix my food. You got me. Thank you, though. I haven't ate nothing today.
Oh, yeah, I ate nothing.
I ate this morning. I ate that last sausage and biscuit. But I'm gonna have me the food you got me and an apple.
Them apples on the table for your mom, man.
Huh?
Them apples in that bag on the table for your mom.
What bag?
On the table there. That's for your mom.
Oh!
She won't eat with that one kind of apple. She won't eat that no other apple. That one kind. That's them Brosies or how do you put them?
And bro, can I have one of them?
That's for your mom.
I like them too.
All right. Well,
I'm fine.
Huh?
I'm fine. I'll eat these.
Get you one. I bought 6 today.
I'll replace it for her. If you don't mind. I like them too. Like I said, sorry. I like those. I said, like I said, sorry. I like those apples too.
Okay. That's fine.
They are good. They are the best apples. Even when I opened up the bag, I could even smell their sweetness.
David can't get them up Stanton. I think 1 or 2 times I found them up there.
Yeah, I found them up there once. And I think even them weren't the regular ones, they were the organic ones.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. The kinds you got are the regular ones.
I got them at Walmart.
Oh, they have ambrosia at Walmart?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, they got them at Walmart.
I'm going to start looking then.
Yeah, they're at Walmart.
This apple looks and smells like it's going to be a really good one.
Well,
You don't like apples, do you?
I like them. I just don't take time to peel them to eat them. I'm lazy.
No, you don't have to peel them. Bite into them, eat the skin and all.
I can't eat them like that. I bought food in my house here now.
Damn.
Why? Because he is absolute ball. 16-year NBA career, 2-time scoring champ. Started off as a most improved, 7-time All-Star, 7 All-NBA, and a Hall of Fame inductee. How we're going to do this? Shaq is going to share some stories, Wade's going to share some stories, and I'm going to share moments from Twitter that people said were their favorite. And one that came in a lot because we were getting ready for All-Star Weekend 2002. A play that I think changed the way that people approach pickup games in their backyard. Throwing it off the backboard.
Damn.
I don't think anybody had
Never mind, I found it.
41 chiming in, one of my favorite
Ugh.
backboard. Dirk and Nash. Here's a wide angle. Turn around, Dirk. Look at that. Jack, you said you tried this before? Yeah, I've tried it. I want to have a shoulder on the place. I just remember seeing this Wade and going, I didn't even think about that as a possibility. No, we did. And that's, like, we want to know. Yeah, bro.
That's just creativity. You know what I'm saying? That's what I brought to the game. I wanted to create things that's never been done before. Yeah. I did it in high school.
So you did that in high school?
I did it in high school. And my goal was to do it in the pros.
Yeah.
The best players on a big stage like that. And I did it several times. But that one right there was iconic, though.
Because there was a camera in the backboard that like captured it so perfectly. All-Star game. Shaq, you want to give some kind words about T-Mac?
So I didn't know about T-Mac. T-Mac was introduced to a friend of mine in Orlando. And it was more of a big fella. appreciate that because, one thing, throughout our careers, you have guys and they like to label guys, oh, he works extremely hard, he got a crazy work ethic. That man can tell you how often I was at his house training before the season, faithfully at his house training and getting that knowledge from him. As a young kid, growing up, watching big fellas, because I'm from Central Florida, so obviously Orlando Magic was my favorite team, him and Penny. And to have the opportunity when I came to play for Orlando, to go to his house and train to get better and get that knowledge from him, that was valuable.
That's one of those calls.
Just one of those calls. One of the people said, get him out of make sure you take him to where he went. Every city, if he needed me.
You got one of those calls. I don't think anyone can say they've had a play like this. Let's go back 33, 35 seconds. 13 points. This has to be the play that people talk to you about most. The play the series.
That's the first thing. Don't make him show all his top highlights. Yeah, I mean, they say
We are giving roses on Tuesday. You guys seen this?
This just happened last night, Shaq. This is the game. It's a highlight show. We have to show our top of it. That's right. That's right. They don't want to talk about
We know that Iverson's going to cross over Jordan. We know this. This was incredible. Most often asked about moment.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'll just put this one right here. Things to do it against a team like San Antonio, who's a great defensive team.
Right.
Bruce Bowen, pesty, just harassing you on the defensive end, and then to be able to have that comeback against a championship caliber team is incredible.
I was watching Cooper Kupp in the Super Bowl, and I'm like, well, they know he's going to him. And that's what that was like. You're like, T-Mac is going to score, and it still happened. It was inevitable.
But one thing about great players, we just got that will, right? That will to take over a game.
And that was
those moments.
That was his first team that went on to win the championship. So Wade, I turn it over. Give Mr. T-Mac his roses.
Well, first of all, man, I live by this saying. I have it tattooed on me and everything. It's I believe it, stronger than your doubt. And when I think of Tracy McGrady, I think of that. You have a young player that's in shot of a great player, and you bet on yourself. You going to Orlando at that time, I don't think was a popular choice. And you bet on yourself. We got all these people talking about bet on yourself and double down. Tracy McGrady was one of the first ones that, in my era of watching the game, that I felt would bet on himself and went to Orlando and just became everyone's favorite player. Yeah, he beat it. And so, I just think as a young kid, we talk about with Little D, and we talk about this power of visualization and imagery. To have an image of a player that just had the silhouette that just when he walked, you was like, oh, he look cool. You know what I mean? Like he had the leg sleeve on. I was like, oh, wow. You know what I mean? And so a lot of people don't like T-Mac was. We said when it comes to like style, how he dressed when he played the game, and we wanted that swag. That's why we all put on that leg sleeve. So. I just think the importance of veteran guys. We spent a lot of time in Chicago, Jim Wilbur, down in rehab and getting ready. And I remember T-Mac used to come in with his hang dribble, right? And that's all I did. And I got up with T-Mac, just coming through. I wasn't 6'7", 6'8" doing it, but like I just wanted to do what T-Mac was doing. I remember being in the gym and hearing him on the sideline talking about me killing people with this hang dribble, like this shot. And he's like, here it come,
championship was to make the well. That to me, I mean, that's why I don't get so caught up in winning a chip. It's a lot of moving parts that comes with winning championships. Right? Shaq's the most dominant guy to ever play our game. He has 4 championships. It's hard. Yeah. Right? And how many years you played, Big? 19. Played 19. He has 4 championships. It's hard to win a chip because there's a lot of moving parts. And to me, I don't know how you guys feel. Going into every season, there's probably like 4 teams trying to win a chip. Right. You know what I mean? Out of 30, they don't have to. Right. Realistically, trying to win a championship. So, yeah, man, I hate your I got there from the something that a lot of people don't know. I almost ended up getting drafted around right now. Doc Rivers was going to draft me. He did. I thought I was I didn't know that. First of all, Doc Rivers, when you even saying that this half, you were talking about on what Doc Rivers didn't do, and that the Heat and Orlando had a conversation. If the Heat don't get their guy, then they were going to trade the pick for Orlando. Doc Rivers wanted to take it. And would have been the way. And so when they picked me at 5, Doc called Ralph. I read to get y'all pick. He's like, no, I read an article that said Jerry West. I read an article that said Jerry West wanted to draft T-Mac because they already had a hot high school player in Kobe. That's true. Either way, this one almost is a great Hall of Fame jacket. Almost. When they recalibrate to 100 rings at one time, you're going to be all better. Thank you for joining us tonight. Appreciate the absolute pleasure. T-Mac, Shaq, we'll follow you. See you on Thursday. Thank you for my bro. TNT. It's harder to balance a team with egos than people actually realize. It's hard. Kevin Durant put this team together. Kevin Durant put this team together. He's the de facto best player, and there's no question about that. Is James Harden there? So, he called Bobby Marks and said, okay, he's okay to trade. He also called Bobby Marks and says, okay, I'm okay to trade for him to come. The reason Kyrie is there. If Kevin Durant says, look, I'm coming to Brooklyn, but I want you to sign X instead of Kyrie. Kyrie is not in Brooklyn. X is in Brooklyn. Kevin Durant puts this team together. If LeBron James, you say LeBron put the Miami Heat together, let that thing get blown up. It goes to show you how hard it is, Skip, because they stayed together for 4 years. You saw Golden State. Kevin Durant wanted to put a team together outside of Golden State and say, hey, I can do this too. LeBron did it. Bob Myers did a great job. But Skip, the thing when you get super teams like this, everybody has to sacrifice. And everybody has to believe everybody is sacrificing. The moment Kyrie did not get that vaccine, James Harden said, you're not sacrificing. Now you tell us you want to sacrifice. I see KD got it. I see everybody else got it. I saw Kyrie 2 weeks. He didn't tell him over the front office. He tell his teammates, bro, I need some time to wait. Yep. That's not sacrificing. Okay. You're looking at the better middle here for you. James Harden said, hold on. And I get it. People said, well, James Harden quit on Houston. He quit on Brooklyn. Kyrie quit on Cleveland, quit on Boston. So what's to say? But Kevin Durant is finding out that it's really hard to keep things together because even after the third, we started hearing things in that third season before that blow up with Draymond. That, feeling some type of way. I don't get the adulation that STEM gets. I'm not going to get that because this is not my team. So he went down his team. Brooklyn is his team. It is in the day. If LeBron James put together a super team and that thing imploded after a year and a half, and then James Harden said, my first choice was to go to Philly. That's what he said. It's a lie. He told him. Now you made a big old deal about Paul George and I want to go play with LeBron. Yeah. I'm going to make a big deal about James Harden. You want to go play with Joe Embiid? He said, I want to go with Joe. He didn't call him Joe. He said Joe. That's what they call him. Yeah. Hey, Joe. They call him Joe. Everybody calls him Joe. Yeah. Yeah, no Joe. Yeah. He wanted to play with Joe. Not the best player. Hold on. You mean to tell me somebody doesn't want to play with the best player in the NBA? James Harden. Yeah. This was bound to end the moment Kyrie didn't get that vaccination because James Harden said, same thing. He didn't sign up for a part-time player. And that's what he was getting. I don't know anybody if that we're trying to accomplish something, but you can only play on the road. Well, you know, we got 41 games. We'll do what you, what the hell we got going on here? That's what happened. Their egos, they not reported that the style of offense, the style of play they were going to have. KD wanted free flow like they had in Golden State. James was more of an ISO, but I thought James had done a great job playing the end skill. You look at he came to last, he finished third MVP. So clearly he can play our style, but it's hard skill. It's hard when you got egos like this because everybody look at him, been the man elsewhere. Yep. Now you bring 3 men. That's why I take my hat off to Chris Bosh, who was the man in Toronto. D-Wade, who won a championship with Finals MVP in Miami. It was Wade County. And then LeBron, you know what LeBron was. And guess what? D-Wade said, LeBron, you're the best damn player. We'll follow you. Chris Bosh said, no, do you. Somebody was willing to say, do you. So everybody got to be willing to make a sacrifice. And I'm not so sure everybody with that big three in Brooklyn was willing to make those sacrifices.
Who was the leader of the Eagles, as they were first called when LeBron went there? Who was the leader of that team? It was D-Wade. Whose winners intangibles were much higher than either Kyrie's or James Harden's? Chris Bosh. Because he's a really good guy. He was willing to do whatever. Yes. And I was hard on him early because everybody was hard on him because he was the third leader and he was the most glaringly easy target when they got off to that horrible great start. Yeah. They lost the Monday night game at home to Portland and they were big favorites. I think they might even been double-digit favorites for that game.
Chris Bosh was a 2010 guy. I didn't realize that it was
an all-star.
And you know the third guy skipped with LeBron. Kevin Love. Remember Kevin Love was a 26 and 14 guy.
He was. You have to have high winners intangibles to blend the three. Yes. And obviously, they had to both defer to LeBron. You be you. You do what you've been doing in Cleveland. Just go ahead. Yes. We'll figure it took a little while. Yes. It took a whole
year.
It took the finals. The finals was
a disaster.
It was. Okay. So now, what was happening here this year? Well, let's start with the fact that Kevin wanted to go to the Knicks. So Kevin, shockingly to me, deferred to Kyrie and said, okay, if you want to go to Brooklyn, I'll go to Brooklyn. And Kevin's attitude was, I just want back-to-back finals MVPs. I got my ratings, I got 2, I'm good to go here. Wherever he goes. And he said, look, I love you, man. If you really want to go to Brooklyn, let's just go to Brooklyn. So he did not bigfoot Kyrie and say, we got to turn the Knicks. We can save them back out of basketball. We can turn around. We'd be the biggest stars in the history of New York City basketball if we can make the Knicks champion. Right? And they would have been. But they go to Brooklyn. Right. Okay. James was angling to come there. James just wanted out. He wanted to go, I'm sure because of Daryl Morey, that he wanted to go to Philly first. But he just wanted out of Houston. And the option of, wow, I could pair up with those guys. Right. We could go big super team. And I think even you acknowledge, well, this is the greatest basketball talent we've ever seen on just pure offensive scoring talent. We've never seen it like those three.
All 3 guys are sensational.
Okay. So, listen, I trust Kevin Durant, as I told you from the start, we're going to get deeper into this versus Giannis, but I trust his winners and intangibles way beyond Kyrie's and 100,000 miles beyond James Harden. So, according to this report, they had played the year before, in the offseason, they got together and played a lot of pickup basketball. Right. And for some reason, this past offseason, James wouldn't show up for any of their runs, like out here at UCLA. Show up. But when he did show up for training camp, Kevin was very upset according to the report that he was way out of shape. And you can see that. Right. He just lets himself go. Right. He is the flip side of LeBron James in off-season workouts, right? And then it started to irk Kevin that James started openly talking about testing the free agent market after this year because it's just a blow to your ego. Like, well, I thought we're all in this together. Why don't you start publicly acknowledging that, right?
Yeah, he said I've never been afraid of you before.
Okay. And then all of a sudden, and it did start, I give you full credit for what you said about it. It all started with Kyrie and the vaccine thing. Right? If you alleviate that, maybe they're still there.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Because James Harden believes everybody's bought in.
Yeah.
James Harden said, how can we all ball and buy in if you're not doing care about Hooper. He don't care nothing about them.
Yeah, because he's so out on James that he won't even mention his name. Armstrong for that.
You never paid it. You know that was paid.
No, it was significant. Is what it was. It sent a resounding message to Philadelphia. Don't trust that guy. Because if Kevin is out on it, you should be out on it too.
Well, hey, look, if LeBron did it, LeBron was trying to, hey, you go ahead.
You tried everything in your power. Hey,
LeBron knew it. That's my problem on the clipboard. LeBron knew it. Okay. I'm just gonna keep doing it.
Thank you for watching. You can subscribe here to get the latest from the show, and be sure to check out more of the best clips from Steven from our other shows.
Well, we would describe this one as practically unimaginable. The New York Knicks blowing a 28-point lead, their largest in a loss over the last 30 years. They have now lost 3 games after leading by at least 20 points. In the month of February alone, the first team to do that in a calendar month of the last 25 years. And for immediate reaction, we turn our attention to our friend Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A., your thoughts?
You know, I got a good friend. That's a Knicks man that just sent me a text message. You know what he said to me? What was it? He said, praise the Lord. Times. Praise every day. He mentions kids. We as Knicks fans deserve better than this. And he's absolutely right. The New York Knicks are a national disgrace. They're horrible. Tibbs, we hear in the New York Knicks, there's an organization ain't too fond of him these days. He might be out. I don't give a damn if he was on tonight. Julius Randle, I'm done with him. Leon Rose, I mean, we got inmates in the state penitentiaries for this. He's the president of basketball operations. We can't find this man. They are trash. Horrible. No KD, no Kyrie, no Ben Simmons, and you lose a 28-point lead for a rookie. Spike Lee shouldn't even show up for the rest of the season. Tracy Morgan, don't go. Don't go. Nobody go. You're horrible. I'm so done with this team. You just stink. Only excuses. I am officially embarrassed that didn't video out of me last year talk about New York stand up. I am embarrassed. I'm not finished, Taylor. I mean, this is a disgrace. How? Jay Wade is a tomboy too. How? Bill Montana, whatever restaurant he goes, God knows what pair of sneakers Taylor gonna come up with. What the hell you want, I mean, I ain't got a choice. I mean, it's just horrible. Horrible. I'm done. I wish this man boycott this team. I'm just sick of it. You lose to the Oklahoma City Thunder in double overtime. You're giving up 20-point lead like it's going out of style. And then tonight, with KD and Ben Simmons in street clothes. Street clothes. Doing number hot Wildcats. This team led by a rookie named Cam Thomas comes back on y'all and erases a 28-pointer. I am done. I don't want to go to the Garden. I don't even want to drive by the Garden. I'm sick of this team. I'm done. Just done. A big ball, quick thoughts over here. No rebound tonight. Why are you hurting this poor man's feelings? Well, earlier he was trying to get all of the Knicks fans together that he just named. It was celebrate this season. It was celebrate. So let's not kick the man when he's down. To a little legitimate analysis, you turned to me and you said, this is the kind of week that gets a coach fired. You know, he was teasing me at halftime because I never get on Tibbs. I believe in what Tibbs does, city to city with either an assistant or a head coach like he was in Chicago, he's in New York. But you have a week like this, 2 weeks. I sat here and I taunted Stephen A. I wasn't trying to taunt. With the Lakers on a Saturday night with alcohol. They're up by 20. I go, the game's over, Stephen A. Stop being dramatic, the game's over. He said, what'd you say? You know, it's still happening. But this one is the worst. This was worse than that. This is worse than the Lakers. This was an unimaginable
not exaggerating and win. There's still going to be people talk about the three-point shot, talk about the pace of the game. You get up 28, Stephen A., you should be upset at your squad the way they lost. The next thing, Julius Randle, the most improved player, when they show this highlight, they're going to show at the end of the game, they were getting out-hustled for offensive rebound. Julius Randle was on the baseline, didn't box out twice. Bruce Brown out-hustled him to the ball. So when that happens, when your two faces that were bigger as last year are now the ones that seem to be doing the thumbs down to the fans, you ain't going to have to worry about them next year, in my opinion, because they're going to be just as upset upstairs as you are watching this.